KBLH pastor and Mrs. William Sachs Epps on their retirement from stewardship at the historic Second Baptist Church. Dr. Epps has faithfully served Second Baptist as its senior pastor for 37 years. What a legacy of love and leadership. Pastor and Mrs. Epps will be honored at a luncheon on Saturday, July 26, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Sheraton Universal Hotel in Universal City, and you're invited to attend. Noted scholar Dr. Michael Eric Dyson is the keynote speaker. For ticket information, please contact epsretirement@gmail.com or call 213-399-2103. That's epsretirement@gmail.com or call 213-399-2103. To Pastor Epps and First Lady Epps, congratulations from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580.
This universe has common ground. Just takes a while to come around. When I'm feeling up and I'm feeling down, reminds me that I'm still alive. A melody that I can see, it's tangible in front of me. A memory that I can keep, reminds me that I'm still alive. Sailing to our neverland, we'll never die, you and I chasing.
Welcome in. Happy Thursday. You are locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. And it is time for your entertainment news update. Shout out to Andy, always on theme. Kid Cudi, Little Neverland. We're going to get into why that's relevant in a bit, because you know there's so much to talk about with that. I hope that you had a good day, that you were relaxed, chilled out, grab your snacks, a beverage, and get in position, because it is time to get into some things. Like I mentioned, Kid Cudi just testified in the Diddy trial, and he described a full-on break-in, Molotov cocktail to his Porsche, a traumatized dog. It had it all. So we'll get into those details. Meek Mill, he is fighting back against online bullying and rumors, as he states, that are not only affecting him, but affecting his son. And yes, it is related. We're all going to tie these themes together like we do. And finally, we're going to get into Remy Ma. She and Papoose have started back up again on their social media back and forth regarding the status of the divorce, why, who stayed where. Clarissa weighed in on her Breakfast Club interview, and it's just continuing to spiral. We'll get into the details of that back and forth. And 50 always has jokes. So he's out there somewhere stirring the pot. So we'll get into the details of that now. Pull up and get ready, because we're into it. Now, before we get into the main thing, we like to start the evening with a few conversation topics. And first up, my fellow Taurus queen, Janet Jackson, who is back on tour, back in Vegas. She announced that she is planning to pause biopic plans to share her story. This is according to In Touch, because she wants to wait until after Michael's biopic that is coming is released. It's in production now. She says she wants to show respect to the estate. Well, the source says Janet wants to hold respect to the estate and family, including her nephew Jafar Jackson, who's portraying Michael. Remember, Antoine Fuqua is directing Michael, which will cover MJ's life from the Jackson 5 through Neverland to his 2009 death. So we will... that's going to be fantastic. We know Nia Long is playing Katherine Jackson. Coleman Domingo is playing Joe Jackson. Lorenz Tate is playing Barry Gordy. I believe Halle Bailey is playing young Janet, or Janet all the way through. So I'm excited to see what comes of it. They're saying that Jafar's performances are incredible, that they are really scaling up like the video performances, the live performances of MJ. So I know we had the American Dream, but this is going to be something else and on the big screen, which, we should it should be amazing. And they're going to have the rights to the music. So, yeah.
Is it going to be as long as the American Dream, though?
Well, here's the thing. They are having issues with that. They were contemplating potentially, because right now it's seemingly long. And they were talking about maybe breaking up into part 1 and part 2. Don't know where they're at with that, if they're just going to edit it down. But, you know, it's in production. We'll see. Well, it's in post-production now. So also, Jussie Smollett, he has reached a $50,000 settlement with the city of Chicago instead of paying the $120,000 in restitution from the 2019 hate crime hoax, depending upon where you sit in that particular subject matter. Jussie has agreed to donate $50,000 to Building Better Futures Center for Arts. It's an organization that supports mental health, art, and acting programs for underserved youth. And the settlement is not an admission of guilt, should be pointed out. Still needs to be approved by a judge, but Jussie was initially convicted of 5 felonies. Later, it was overturned via plea deal, and his donation also qualifies as a tax write-off. So, listen, it took him 6 years, but no felonies, and shoot, less than half of what he was originally supposed to pay. Now, we don't know how much his lawyer fees cost, but a conversation for another day. We're always looking on the bright side. Listen, when we come forward, we're going to get into these trending topics and headlines. And oh, by the way, I have a guest tonight. We'll get into that on the other side, too. All of that and more. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You're riding with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. You ready?
Somebody make some noise in this joint.
KBLA Talk 1580 celebrates its 4th anniversary this year on Juneteenth.
Here we go again.
Hard to believe 4 years has gone by so fast.
Oh my God.
But here we are, still standing, still loving and serving our people as best we can.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
To celebrate our 4th anniversary, we have 4 big events, and you're invited to all of them.
She got a lot to say.
Let's do this.
Let's get it on.
On Wednesday, June 18th, we go live on C-SPAN for the 2nd consecutive year with our Climate Justice Plus Black Health Symposium. Tavis Smiley will moderate an all-star panel of thinkers and influencers as we continue our vitally important climate justice work.
Hey, Tavis Smiley, talk about.
On Thursday, June 19th, you're invited to join us as we celebrate Juneteenth and our 4th anniversary. There will be plenty of food, fun, great music, good vibes, and all of your favorite KBLA Talk 1580 hosts will be there.
Yeah, man.
Flip the beat. On Saturday, June 21st, there are 2 big events you're invited to attend.
I can't wait to hear it.
This year, KBLA Talk 1580 continues its annual partnership with the Empowerment Congress for a community celebration and dialogue to educate, engage, and empower. This year's theme is Resilience in the Face of Chaos.
Can't wait to see what's up next.
Y'all ain't ready for this.
And new this year is our State of Black Women in Los Angeles Symposium, moderated by Dominique DePrima, with a luncheon to follow. Dominique will be leading a dialogue with some of the most impactful Black women leaders in Los Angeles, and you're invited to join.
This is it.
All of these events are free, but seating is limited, so you must register in advance at our KBLA1580.com website, where you can find all the details you need about each event.
Check it out.
It's our 4th anniversary, and we would love to celebrate it with you.
I love you guys so much. There's nothing you can do about it.
We're KBLA Talk 1580.
The only black talk radio station west of the Mississippi.
Thank you for having our black.
Happy anniversary, KBLA!
We love you.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back?
back. If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code PUSH to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code PUSH for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code PUSH for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Now back to more entertainment news with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back in. You were locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. And you know, it's Gemini season. Shout out to them Geminis, I suppose. And I'm just like, shout out to the Geminis, and especially shout out to Johnny Gill. Happy birthday to Johnny Gill. Today is his birthday. I saw him celebrating Janet Jackson in a video she posted on her Instagram for her birthday. So we want to get at it, JG. So listen, you know how this goes down. Before we get into the topics, if at any point during this conversation you want to get involved, 800-920-1580. Of course, we're all over social media, KBLA 1580. I'm at Stiletto Jill. Hit me up, holla, say hi, download the app, all of the good things. And tonight, I'm not alone to get into this conversation because there's so much to get into. I have a guest. I want to welcome back in author, host, and all around, what did you call yourself? The fun? I can't remember. It was a phrase.
A lot of things.
A lot of things.
I'll be a lot of things.
Trent Jackson is in the building. Welcome back, Trent. How have you been?
For having me. Rested.
Rested?
Yeah.
Rested and refreshed?
Not quite refreshed, but just rested.
Okay.
Still being in the process of being refreshed.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, we'll take a little bit of that.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to get into Diddy trial. We're in week 3, testimony week 2. And Kid Cudi took the stand today. You know, we have heard tale.
Did he?
That Cassie was dating Kid Cudi back in 2011. And that Diddy broke into Kid Cudi's house and bombed his Porsche. Well, we got the full story behind that. And remember, Kid Cudi is a witness for the prosecution. And long story short, he did say that he was under the impression that Cassie was done with Diddy. She did share with him that Diddy had been a little abusive, a little handsy, but he thought she was done. They spent a lot of time together. He didn't know that the phone that Cassie was using to contact him was a burner phone. In January of 2012, Cassie called him like, hey, yo, can you come pick me up? It was like at 5:36 in the morning. Come pick me up. Diddy found out about us. Now, the prosecution asked, well, what did you interpret that to mean? And he said he was confused because why would it matter that Diddy discovered that they were dating? He said that he felt like they were in love. They went and holed up at the Sunset Marquise. Then they went and spent some time on the East Coast in Connecticut with her family. La, 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 la. In the meantime, right, lots was happening. So this is when allegedly Diddy forced Cassie, we don't know how, but he asked her for Kid Cudi's address. She gave it to him. And allegedly, you know, the assistant that they're calling Mia, which by now most people know is Capricorn Clark, Cudi responded that Capricorn Clark was someone he knew as a good friend of Cassie and that they spent a lot of time together. Now you're starting to see what the issue could possibly be for Diddy. Someone that was his assistant and working for him was helping Cassie date another guy in the industry. Keep that in mind, right? So through the line of questioning, we find out that Cassie and Cudi were at the Sunset Marquise, holed up. Capricorn called on speakerphone like, yo, these dudes are in your house. They made me come with them. I'm in the car. So allegedly, one of the kidnapping that they are alluding to for Diddy is that he allegedly, and remember, at some point we're going to see Capricorn testify for the prosecution on the stand under an alias. So Cudi says that on speakerphone she said this, and that allegedly she was forced. Diddy pulled a gun. Someone pulled a gun on her, forced her in the car to go with him, and he said that he immediately jumped up and was headed to his house, right? And he called Diddy. And he said when Diddy answered, he was calm. And Cudi was like, "Are you in my house?" And Diddy was like, "I'm right here waiting for you." And Cudi was like, "Are you in my house?" He was like, "I'm right here waiting." And Cudi said he was on his way, but then he thought better of it because he did know who was with Diddy. So he called the police. When the police met him there, first of all, the home wasn't broken into. He feels like he might have left a door open, but someone was definitely in the home. There was some gifts because it was around Christmas time that had been open, Chanel boxes and so forth. His dog was locked in the closet. They feel like his dog was traumatized. Like Diddy was out here moving like he was in Scarface, like he was in The Godfather, like he was a mafia don. They think that they gave the dog a treat that had some drugs in it, because obviously Diddy was a drug addict, right? And so he drugged the dog, they think, and locked him in a bathroom. Excuse me, not a closet, a bathroom. And so the police came. Nothing was missing. Nothing was stolen. But that's what happened. Later, we know about the car. Now, we heard talk of the car being blown up or a bomb. Wasn't a bomb. I guess they cut a hole in the interior ceiling and lit it on fire, like with a Molotov cocktail or something like that. So not a bomb, but they did set it on fire, right? And so here's where the defense got it kind of caught up. And so one, no one saw, the security cameras were moved. They were repositioned. So there's nothing on film. I don't understand how in Hollywood Hills, none of your neighbors have cameras either. I know how the Hollywood Hills is and the driveways, but nobody around that time caught anything. Because, of course, I went and looked up the house.
Well, who are the neighbors? Are they other industry people?
Who knows?
Yes, exactly.
Who knows?
Because there's a certain type, those blocks up there, it's like your neighbors are all people that are related. It's all a tangled web. So
but,
who are the neighbors?
they may have just known that it was a break-in. Some people are nosy, but I don't know. Here's the thing. No one saw anything. There's no surveillance footage. And there was DNA and fingerprints that were found on the car. Oh, by the way, here comes the twist. The defense is saying that the report came back that it was female DNA on the car, meaning it could have been some girl that Cudi was messing with. The dog sitter was there watching his dog when the car caught on fire or something, but there are no male fingerprints. There's nothing tracing directly back to Diddy. But they did have that phone call, and they did have Capricorn call them saying she was in the car. So we'll see what happens when she takes the stand. Cudi also talked about a meeting that took place at the Soho House in West Hollywood, where he said he walked in because his manager arranged it with D-Rock, Diddy's security, because, it was like, this is out of hand, cars, da-da-da-da-da-da-da, right? So he came to the meeting so that they could squash it, and it was just him and Diddy alone. He said when he walked in, if you've been to the Soho House in West Hollywood, there is a wall that is just windows and glass. It looks out over the entire city. The views are majestic. It is incredible, right? Mm-hmm. He said that Diddy was standing looking out because they were in like one of the first floor meeting rooms or something. Diddy was standing looking out the window with his hands behind his back, looking like a Marvel supervillain. I was cracking up. And the way that the meeting unfolded, I can see why he felt that way. Mm-hmm. He said that Diddy basically said to him, asked him what happened in the relationship or whatever. And basically, they came to the conclusion that Cudi, Diddy was like, you were supposed to be my man's. Why would you talk to girl. And he was like, I didn't know that y'all were still dealing with each other. You know, Diddy's loyalty. So then they're having this conversation. She said Diddy offered him 2 bottles of water twice. You know what the implication was there. Maybe the water was laced with something. He declined. So then he said Cassie walks in. She does not speak to Cudi. And this is a short time after he has whisked her away. They have spent, you know, they're supposedly in love. They've spent this time in Connecticut and at the Sunset Marquise, and all of these things have happened, right? Because remember, Cassie gave Diddy Cudi's address. Now, understandably, she probably was scared not to, but I don't know. She was contacting him through a burner. So he said Cassie walked past Cudi, didn't speak to him, like hugged Diddy and gave him a kiss, and, you know, was like, hi, baby, or whatever. Like, I'm choosing. Unnecessary drama. And he said Diddy was like something like, we cool, right? Or whatever. And Cudi was like, yeah, we cool. So he shook hands. And Cudi said, he was like, well, what about my car? And Diddy was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And so that was kind of it, right? And Cudi also admitted that, I don't know if it was at this time at the Soho House, because he said he saw him a couple of years later at the Soho House, and that Diddy walked up to him and was like, man, I'm sorry about all that mess and, you know, all that BS, you know, from the past. Not being specific on what that meant. The obvious inference is that it was, hey man, I'm sorry for lighting your car on fire and breaking into your house. But again, he didn't say that. There were no fingerprints. There's no physical evidence that Diddy was there, right? And Cudi basically said, and the defense caught him up, that they both agreed that Cassie played them both in this instance. So once again, they are trying to make, you know, Cassie look like she was loosey-goosey out there, hanging out, doing whatever, and all of these things. His former assistant also appeared on the stand today for about an hour, and I mean, maybe longer than that. And a former makeup artist, Mila Morales, also got on the stand. Now, the former assistant talked about being 23. He worked for Diddy for a year. There were 2 instances where he said that he either overheard or came in on the remnants of what he believed Diddy beating up Cassie, but he didn't have any proof. He made the decision to leave the job because he was uncomfortable with the violence and the moves he had to make in order to, you know, be in this type of job with what's going on. He also said that he had a great deal of respect for Diddy and his business acumen, but that Diddy wasn't a nice person. He also mentioned that Diddy treated Kim differently. Kim was respected. He did not speak to her or you know, plan for her in the way that he did with his other girlfriends, Cassie and Gina. And he talked about being in Miami and that he got mad at Gina and was throwing apples at her, just throwing green apples at her like target practice or something. And that later on, like, Diddy called him and he had to bring his medical bag in, which had like supplies and stuff and, you know, witch hazel and creams. And that later on he heard a commotion by the gate. And it sounded like Gina was trying to get out, but Diddy wouldn't let her out because if you don't have the code for the gate, you can't get out the gate. Mm-hmm. And this is on Star Island. So that sounds like, you know, another kidnapping thing, right? So a lot is happening. Trent Jackson, we haven't heard your thoughts on this.
We want it all to be over. And there's so many layers to this. Like, we knew that Diddy was a
tyrant,
a sexual deviant freak who was into all this chaos and disorder. I mean, he built a whole lifestyle on it. It's obvious, and I don't want to say obvious, but it was obvious to us because we're from LA. We've heard the stories. We've orbited the Soho House. We know these things, right? All of this is believable. I am very curious to know if we're ever going to hear the origin story of how Cassie and Diddy came to be.
I mean, we did.
Was Ryan Leslie mentioned in that at all?
Yes, he was. They discussed that.
Did he ever come on?
He's not a witness, but I mean, essentially, the defense kind of tapped into this and made it look like that Cassie's MO, because she dated an NFL player at one point, Michael B. Jordan, Kid Cudi. She moved from Ryan Leslie to Diddy. She was 19, living in a penthouse in Manhattan that Ryan was paying for. So all of that was discussed.
When you were telling the story, all I could think about was Ryan Leslie the whole time, because it was very much in line, allegedly, how he acquired Cassie. He kidnapped her essentially by a gun.
Ryan Leslie?
No, Diddy. When she was dating Ryan Leslie.
No, they said she told the story. She said that Diddy made up a flyer for a club date, a club hosting in Miami. She flew out there and that he kissed her. I mean, if it was, it hasn't been mentioned. Like, one of the things that
I was curious, had he been a witness, and was
he probably won't be called because he wasn't around. He admittedly had said that his time with Bad Boy, he was recording, he was a studio head, he wasn't exposed to any of the stuff. And when Cassie moved on with Diddy, I'm sure personally he had some friction or something to say, but I'm sure it probably didn't make its way out. Like the assistant said, you know, this guy was 23 when he was doing this job, white guy. He said he wanted to work in the industry and that this job was important to him. And the principles that he learned in the job, Diddy's work ethic, are things that he still utilizes to this day. But Diddy is not a nice man, and that was not a great environment to be in, you know? So I definitely think one thing that Cassie did say is that nobody knew about the freak-offs, that it was their secret. She didn't reveal that to anyone. So it's certainly interesting. Listen, when we come forward, we'll get into more details. We'll get into that Meek Mill story and Remy Ma and Papoose with Trent Jackson, Trent the artist, in the building. All of that and more on the other side. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Love rules the world. You feel me?
We don't understand you like I do. We don't understand you. Make love to you like I do. So give it to me. 'Cause I can show you about a real love. And I can promise anything that I do. It's just too satisfying.
Are you ready for the hottest entertainment scoop in Los Angeles? She's bringing you exclusive interviews with today's biggest stars, behind-the-scenes Hollywood insights, and all the entertainment news you need to know. She's breaking down what's trending, what's ending, and what's just beginning in the world of entertainment. You're riding with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. New York City will host a ticker tape parade on July 6 next year to honor post-9/11 veterans.
It will formally recognize the more than 2.9 million Americans who bravely served during the global war on terror in Iraq and Afghanistan.
Black Mayor Eric Adams says the homecoming of heroes will salute their service and sacrifice, with city and state agencies also taking part in the Lower Manhattan celebration. Rapper Kid Cudi has finished testifying in Sean Diddy Combs' sex crimes trial. He recalled a 2012 incident where Combs allegedly broke into his home and his car was set on fire. And Black New Jersey Congresswoman LaMonica McIver is not entering a plea yet on an assault charge tied to a May 9th protest at a Newark ICE facility. She's accused of assaulting federal agents during the arrest of Black Mayor Ras Baraka. McIver calls the charge political intimidation. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
In Santa Monica, the 10 eastbound slows away from Cloverfield. Delays across Mid-City all the way to San Pedro Street. Slowing on the 405 northbound out of Culver City, leaving Venice Boulevard. Delays in stretches all the way to the 5 merge into Sylmar. And the 5 northbound, we're seeing delays here getting out of Burbank from Buena Vista. Heavy ahead all the way to the 14, making that connection into Santa Clarita 14 northbound. It's just a little crowded off of Newhall Avenue towards Placerita Canyon Road.
Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
Is this the title? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Here's another example of how international basketball has caught up to the NBA. When Oklahoma City star Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was voted league MVP Wednesday, it was the 7th straight year the MVP award has gone to an international player. Gilgeous-Alexander was born in Toronto and grew up in the Canadian city. In the previous 6 years, Denver center Nikola Jokic of Slovenia has been MVP 3 times. Milwaukee center Giannis Antetokounmpo of Greece has won it twice. Philadelphia center Joel Embiid, a native of Cameroon, was MVP in 2023. Clippers guard James Harden was the last American-born player to be voted MVP. Harden won the award in 2018. During the Angels' 6-game winning streak, they moved out of last place in the American League West Division. The Angels are 4th in the division, only 5 games behind division leader Seattle. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 congratulates Pastor and Mrs. William Sachs Epps on their retirement from stewardship at the historic Second Baptist Church. Dr. Epps has faithfully served Second Baptist as its senior pastor for 37 years. What a legacy of love and leadership. Pastor and Mrs. Epps will be honored at a luncheon on Saturday, July 26, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Sheraton Universal Hotel in Universal City, and you're invited to attend. Noted scholar Dr. Michael Eric Dyson is the keynote speaker. For ticket information, please contact epsretirement@gmail.com or call 213-399-2103. That's epsretirement@gmail.com or call 213-399-2103. To Pastor Epps and First Lady Epps, congratulations from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580.
Attorney advertising. Prior results do not guarantee future outcomes.
Founded in Los Angeles in 1986, litigation powerhouse Quinn Emanuel has deep roots in the Los Angeles community. Since 2007, we have litigated some of the largest fires on the West Coast. We are proud to be the only AmLaw 100 firm in the country to represent wildfire victims, giving affected individuals, families, and businesses the same focus and individualized attention we devote to our Fortune 500 clients. BTI Consulting has repeatedly recognized Quinn Emanuel as among the 4 law firms in-house counsel least like to oppose in any litigation, and we are often deemed the most feared. And after securing over $80 billion for our clients in various matters firm-wide, we understand why. If you have been affected by the recent wildfires in Altadena and the Palisades and would like to discuss your situation further, please contact wildfire support at QuinnEmanuel.com or call us at 213-443-3050. Quinn Emanuel is proud to sponsor Conversation Live Altadena Rising with James Farr on KBLA Talk 1580.
Attorney advertising. Prior results do not guarantee future outcomes.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom? She started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You feel the vibe is contagious. Look in your eyes, it's dangerous. Grateful I had all the patience. I know you going through some changes. You taking pictures, know your angles. Ooh, no, we ain't perfect, but we them close. Ooh, you give me something I can pay for. No angel, but you got a halo. When it's nights like this, I really wanna be right here. I really wanna take you there. When it's nights like this, I really wanna be right here. I really wanna take you there.
It was nights like this, feeling right like this. I never really spent no time like this, huh? You
Welcome back in. You are locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. We're going to get on to that guy in a little bit, Meek Mill. Shout out to him. All right, so listen, kind of wrapping up on this Kid Cudi testimony. One thing that I think it is important to note, we know we're still early in the case, and it only takes one juror to throw this off, right? There has to be unanimous convictions on all charges. This jury is made up of 8 men, 4 women. The women are of color. It's said that at least one of the black women that is on the jury kind of seems to like roll her eyes at certain things in reference to Cassie. I don't know. Like, one thing is clear, we can all agree with. Diddy is a monster. He had horrible, reprehensible behavior. Like, what he did to her, there's no rhyme or reason.
And not just her, it's just the things that we don't even know about. This is just the one thing, that is bringing up all the highlighting all the other things.
Like, the assistants have pointed out, one thing, the assistant that testified today said that he never saw Diddy with any guns or waving any guns, that Diddy never threatened him, but he did threaten his job. So, it's like there are gray things like that can be kind of picked apart, right? The assistant said he wasn't privy to all of the things that were going on inside the relationship. He said, he had limited contact with the women in Diddy in his life, but he did have some contact with them. Also, something to consider that is going to be brought up, right, is remember the defense is going to lean heavily on the fact that Diddy is a drug abuser, a drug addict, right? And here's the thing. It has been said about Cassie that he hooked her on drugs, obviously, right? And that some of her actions could be explained not just by fear, but because of the fact that she was a drug addict. So if you extend that grace to Cassie, do you extend that same grace to Diddy? I'm not saying you should. I'm not passing a moral compass here. I am just saying some of the things that the defense is going to set up and roll out. They have already kind of hinted at this is a toxic love, jealous relationship. There are many instances of Cassie being jealous that they have raised and pointed out to kind of bolster their side, and that they were just wilding out on each other, plus add the drugs to it. That sometimes they would be coming down off of these drug highs and getting into it with each other. Is that a defense enough for this? If it is a defense for Cassie and the freak-offs and physical, is it a defense of Diddy enforcing it? I don't know. I'm just saying these are some of the holes and threads and fibers that the defense is pulling at. And they don't have to prove that Diddy is innocent. They just have to provide some doubt. So that's something to think about. Andy, Trent, anything else before we move on?
I am not a proponent of anything that vile that he's done, but it seems as if his personal sex life is on trial here, which is not really a crime. It's more of a humiliation type situation. We're going to tell all your business and, have people tarnish your reputation. I don't really see him going to jail.
I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't. Do you know what I'm saying? There are some so far, there are some things that have come up. You hear people like, oh no, this is a slam dunk and they killed.
No.
The defense, he has a very expensive, highly trained team. And once again, they don't have to prove him innocent. And they started with these facts, their opening statement. Diddy's not a nice guy. He has been abusive. He's a drug addict. But that doesn't mean that he did trafficking, coercing, what is the other prostitution, all of these things, right? And all they need is one. Just something to consider. Andy?
Diddy gets off. Once again, his legacy is still tarnished.
It is.
I don't see Diddy opening up a tour, having a concert, and it gets sold out.
Not right away.
I don't see that.
Not right away, but, here's the thing. Rick James was accused of some heinous things when he was on drugs. Him and his lady friend. To her, to extend to others. But about 15 years after that, at the BET Awards, we were all clapping in our living rooms when he and Tina Marie stepped out on that stage and did Fire and Desire.
Was that his first time performing since the shenanigans?
It was his first time like being on that type of stage and being received in that type of way in a long time. And not only that,
he was the whole Dave Chappelle thing made him popular again. So that's all it takes. And we have to also keep in mind that Diddy, while he is he's a producer more than he is an artist. So we've got all these people around him.
He's a cultural figure
that he's had his hand in that could easily just come together and just do the songs. And there's I
mean, anything could happen. You know, he's had his hands in a lot of pies. And like I'm saying, would it be tomorrow? Would it be next year? No. But 10 years from now, I just want us to remember who we have in office.
Yeah, people have really, really short memories when it comes to things like this. People, and if you think about all the other celebrities that have had scandal and gone through trials, they've all made a comeback, mostly.
So
you can't really name one that hasn't. Even good old OJ.
I mean, and these are facts. These are facts. We were celebrating, maybe not everybody, but OJ was somewhat of a beloved figure the last few years in his life once he was released from jail.
All it takes is one comedian or one something to go viral in a moment and people remember, and that's it.
And they remember how they felt when they first heard, take that, take that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just the way it is with everyone and anyone. So that's just life. So listen, let's get into Meek Mill really quickly. Meek jumped on X, airing it out. He says that the constant rumors about his sexuality are really hurting his teenage son. He's calling out the black community. He says that they are eating their own, right? And he you know, do you feel like it's unfair judgment or fair game, right? He said that his 13-year-old son is being impacted emotionally from these rumors and these jokes. He said, there's a war on black men. My son got to go to school and deal with this mess. That ain't fair to him. Nobody tears down people who look like them more than us. We know that is always a throwback. I don't know of nobody, but we do have a very particular and specialized way of doing it when we do it, and we all kind of swarm. It feels like, at least. So is he deflecting? Does he have a point? Thoughts on that really quickly.
He does have a point when the kids are involved. However, he should know being black comes with clownery on ways. Black people are going to make a joke out of anything and everything. So you just got to have thick skin.
He got jokes about being in the pool with French fries in his lap. Like that was exotic.
But also, he should not feed into this stuff and set himself up when he's taking pictures looking zesty. And you know these things are swirling around about you. And it's like people, for instance, I do certain things on purpose because people know that, you know, who I could date. So you don't feed into it when people have all this stuff swirling on about you. So he's a part of it too.
Andy?
I know he emphasized that, you know, there's, you know, a war on the black man. There's a war on the black woman as well.
Yeah.
There's a war on black people, period.
Facts.
Yes.
And we have our internal war going on with each other. I mean, people are people. People are not always nice. People will definitely take out their issues on you, their insecurities, their shortcomings, all of these things. Or that's just how they feel, and they don't care if it hurts your feelings.
And
like,
as a public figure,
take one.
have thicker skin.
I mean, yeah, he's
from Philly. I'm surprised.
I mean, I think, but he is talking about the impact it's having on his son, not so much him, but what his son has to endure at school. And being that he is from Philly, if his son is going to school in Philly, first up, put your son in a private school. I know that has a different set of issues, but make sure your son is in the right spot.
And kids are already tough at 13 anyway. They've been cruel, so it's just like, you can't really,
on the flip side of it,
isolate them from that.
The Combs twins supposedly did not have that experience in school and have not been receiving any hate or drama. And oh, by the way, though Chance is at NYU currently, wrapping up her freshman year, Delilah and Jesse are not going to college. They're going to focus on their hoodie line and entrepreneurial efforts.
That makes sense.
I mean, they said Diddy's money is dwindling. So does it? I don't know. I'm not judging, college
but also,
or not.
what do you do? You can't just go to school and get a regular job when you come from that type of.
Why not? The older daughter is.
But come on.
You can.
You can, but
You
these new kids, they don't believe in that.
No, they want to just chill.
Yeah.
Maybe. I can't
and live
speak
the
to
life.
them though. Listen, Andy, did you have anything? When we come forward, we're going to get into Remy Ma and Papoose because they're still battling online. It's still ongoing. And, we want Auntie and Unc, the nerve, the audacity of me. But we want Auntie and Unc to chill. So we'll get into those details when we come forward. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You're riding with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I feel so alone.
I'm embarrassed to talk about it.
How can I help my kid if I can't help myself?
I can't remember when I wasn't stressed.
I don't like it.
Inside.
When you feel overwhelmed by your thoughts and emotions, it's okay to get help. You are not alone. CalHope is here for you with free, safe, and confidential mental health resources for youth, young adults, families, and you. Find support now at calhope.org.
JP Morgan Chase offers tips for the local business owners in 2025. Small business landscape is ever changing, and the Los Angeles market is no exception. A startup or legacy business, revisiting your mission statement and recalibrating offerings can renew opportunities for growth and innovations. Programs like Chase for Business Coaching for Impact gives entrepreneurs access to expert guidance, helping you streamline operations, strategize your growth, and navigate complex challenges. Businesses with a clear sense of purpose can navigate any challenge effectively, but also build stronger customer loyalty. Visit chase.com/coaching for impact for more information. This segment is sponsored by JP Morgan Chase.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Autopsy Initiative provides a second autopsy free of charge for victims' families who have lost their loved ones due to a police-related death. The services offered through the initiative include the completion of a second autopsy, disclosure of preliminary findings, and a final autopsy report. A police-related death is when an individual is harmed by police officers using deadly force, which results in an individual's death. Police-related death includes in-custody deaths, including those that arise during contact with law enforcement officers during arrest, pursuit, booking, transport, or incarceration. The Autopsy Initiative has a team of board-certified pathologists on call. An autopsy request may be completed by anyone with a close relationship with the victim, which may include the victim's spouse, partner, relative, close friend, or lawyer. To request a free second autopsy for a victim of police violence, please visit knowyourrightscamp.com. That's knowyourrightscamp.com. Then click on Autopsy, then click on Request. At KBLA, we believe in justice for victims of police violence. We say their names, and we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back, and you are locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. So, okay, let's get into Remy Ma. She says she's been silent long enough, and she's asking Papoose to stop dragging his feet and sign the divorce papers.
I heard that.
She got on Instagram Live. She wrote a caption. She said, "I'm happy. That's my only emotion. And will be even happier when Papoose retains his lawyers and or shows up to mediation to sign the paperwork. I've had it since last year." She also said, "I don't want nothing but to not be mentioned in order to promote upcoming events that nobody cares about." She talking to you, Clarissa. She also said, "Moving forward, I will be responding to everything I feel necessary since my silence is not appreciated." So a reminder, Papoose and Remy married in 2008. They were one of hip-hop's favorite black love couples. They represented black love, black love. He famously held her down while she went in jail, right? Fans began speculating for months that Remy was messing with Easy the Block Captain, a battle rapper. Well, Papoose got online on an Instagram Live and responded. And he basically said Remy was moving crazy, that she bought a house about 10 minutes from their house to hook up with Easy the Block Captain a little loved in. She was out there being reckless. Well, Remy, of course, is blocked. But she joined from her daughter's page on the line and said Papoose was staying in the game because he was broke and she was paying all the bills. So he ain't had no place to go. He couldn't do nothing about it. She also said that he has not seen their daughter and taken her to school in at least a year. And all she wants is for him to sign these divorce papers and stop fronting. Now, the back and forth is still going on. Okay? They're still talking. They're still going live. They're still tweeting and all of these things, right? She says she has the receipts and that I knew he was going to come on here like the emotional girl he is.
Wow.
Bump, 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 bump. Remy also said in the what is it? The caption, excuse me. Not popping S, but everyone got me blocked. Like I said, all Papoose care about is what y'all think of him. I knew he was coming on here like the emotional girl he is, and I've been waiting. I would listen to only Papoose music 24/7 for the rest of my life before I would get back with that bozo. Sidebar, and you haven't talked to my daughter. You haven't taken my daughter to or from school since last year. But that's allegedly why you got to get a place so close to my crib. Double sidebar. Like I always tell you, if you miss me, just say that. No need to start an unnecessary fight. So it's drama. It's hijinks. Trent Jackson, what do you have to add?
Yeah, anyway.
Nothing?
I mean, I guess you have to do this to pay your bills if you're not releasing singles or doing anything. Is she still on that show?
Love and Hip Hop?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. They moved it to MTV2 and that was it for me.
So yeah, like who's paying attention to this? Like again, people have really short, memory as it pertains to stuff like this. They got married, it was nice. Okay, we'll move on. Let's go for something else.
Papoose also posted documents saying that Remy just called him back yesterday, trying to get back with him.
They have a kid together. Of course
right.
There's going to be some back and forth. Shut up, first of all, are we really listening to a man named Papoose?
Listen, I'm just saying what is happening
We're
here.
not.
And he said that she just filed again yesterday. What'd you say, Andy?
I said hip-hop heads are.
No, we're not.
I mean.
No one is.
So it is a lot happening.
It. So, Remy Ma was the breadwinner.
Yeah.
According to her.
Lean back.
I mean,
is it possible, right?
What was Papoose going on tour? Was he selling albums?
I'm sure he was doing music, but he just wasn't popping like Remy Ma or anybody else at the time. But anyways, considering Remy Ma was the breadwinner, do you think maybe there was some, pride issues within Papoose? I mean, he held her down, but do you think he held her down maybe because he knew that
I think I'm going to be honest. I think that and this is probably a topic best suited for Zoe Williams, the voice of reason, coming up next. However, I'm just going to say, I think that some men, maybe a lot of men, think that they are okay with the woman being the breadwinner and doing the big kick it and being a homoexual. But in reality, that day-to-day of that, it's kind of emasculating for some. And I think that it can develop into a problem at times for both parties, and maybe they don't appreciate the benefits of what that situation is like perhaps they once did. You kind of look at Mary J. Blige and Kendu. You look at what happened with, some of these other relationships where the woman is clearly the breadwinner, and usually what happens, that man ends up sneaking off, cheating because he feels incomplete. He doesn't feel like his woman has time for him. He doesn't feel like the king, the things. So
with that being said, though, on the flip side, Remy Ma, do you think that she developed maybe a lack of respect for Papoose?
Yeah, I think that is very much what happens, like I said, on both parts. It's not just maybe him feeling, you know, less than a man in some of these moments, or maybe in how she treats or responds to him. It's also her maybe looking around like, yo, I'm keeping the lights on around this place. What you doing? Get up out the couch. Oh, you know, these things happen. So
that would make for a good reality show.
What would?
That right there. Instead of going back and forth on Instagram and going live, they should just bring the cameras in and make a show out of it.
I mean, but she says she's not. She says she's not getting back with that bozo. She's done. She would easy the block captain in her new place, 10 minutes away, chilling, and she just wants him to sign the papers. Freedom.
I understand that. Sign the papers.
Sign the papers, baby. Yeah. I don't know. It's a lot happening in hip hop. Tell me this, right? Kind of last thoughts on the Diddy trial and what's happening.
When is it going to be over?
Probably not another 5 weeks at least. They're looking to end the case by the July 4th weekend.
Perfect. So we can have a nice and quiet summer listening to Diddy's music like it is 1998, and we can just move on to the cookout and whatever else, and we can have a good night.
You over it?
I've been over it.
Okay, but you don't see how the culture is invested or why they are?
I understand why the culture is invested. We've been enamored with Puffy for the last 25 years, right? 30 years at this point. So,
but not just that, he did have an impact on the culture. Some of the things he shaped.
He totally did. And I think that he is still influencing the culture because some deviant is going to get ideas about these freak offs, and they're going to be inspired, and they're going to keep it going.
I do think a lot of people are getting a different level of understanding how the rich move. Like, people think they know, because you think about all the lawsuits and all the things. None of the things that people were saying, oh, this is going to come out, oh, this information, granted, there's still time, but none of that has come out. And I think it's because the average person really doesn't know what's going on. All right, guys, thank you for tapping in. You know what's coming up next. Zoe Williams, the voice of reason. I'm Jill Munroe. Make sure you are here every Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. Shout out to Trent Jackson, Trent the Artist. They can find you at Trent the Artist, right?
Correct, on Instagram.
All right.
And all platforms.
Well, thank you guys for locking in. I'll be back here tomorrow. Enjoy your night.
Ordinary, unusual. You gotta have a mind state like I'm so great and can't nobody do it like you do. Miraculous, phenomenal, and ain't nobody in here stopping you. Show no love, cause you what's up. Look at yourself in the mirror like, what the damn, I look good, and can't nobody figure like I could. Yeah, okay, I got a little fat butt. My shorty told me that he like it like that. I'm happy, another me that never can be. See, I'm so outstanding. Don't care if they can't stand me. I'm sitting on top of the world like Granny. See, I look too good for this necklace, and I look too good to be wearing this. You know I look way too good to be in this.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Tensions rose at the White House as President Trump accused South Africa of genocide against white Afrikaners.
They're being executed